Welcome to Living Hope. With today's teaching, here's the Reverend Richard Brunton.
Welcome to the Living Hope Thought for the Day. Today's thought for the day comes from Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 18. Paul says, "Do not be drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit." Paul is giving this exhortation for very good reason, because he's really thinking very much of the need to be filled with the Holy Spirit. Of course, the whole sense of drunkenness goes right back to the day of Pentecost, because when the early church were filled with the Holy Spirit, the only way that people could describe their antics and behavior on the day, they said, "You've got to be drunk." And Peter said, "No, that's not what's happening at all. What's happening is that we've just been touched by the Holy Spirit of God, and that's given us joy and boldness and confidence. And we just want to tell you about Jesus. We were holed up in an upper room, frightened to go out, but now that's not the case. We're able to come out onto these streets and say Jesus Christ is everything he said he was. His death on the cross was no mistake. It was in the plan of God, a way of our sin being dealt with. He rose from the dead, he's alive, and he's with us now. And the Holy Spirit is helping us to proclaim him. And Paul says that, yes, there are plenty of people who'll try to entice you into drunkenness and into all sorts of sins and bad habits that come out of that. But he said, you need to continue to be filled with the Holy Spirit. That's in fact what it means. It means go on being filled, which is important because sometimes Christians can get rather satisfied with a experience, and they've tasted something from God and they become complacent and don't seem to hunger and thirst for more. But the Lord wants us to desire more of him, more of his presence, more of his power, more of his love in our lives. He doesn't want us to be just sort of one-day wonders. He wants us to be people who walk with him and enjoy his presence, enjoy hearing his voice. When we're filled with the Holy Spirit, we're in a place where we can listen to the Holy Spirit. When we're filled with the Holy Spirit, we're not out of control. We're able to respond to God. We're sensitive to his holiness, to his purity. We're sensitive to his promptings. We're sensitive to the very many gifts that he's able to give. Words of knowledge, words of wisdom, discernment, knowing good from evil. There are many things available to us when we are filled with the Holy Spirit. But very simply, if you are filled with the Holy Spirit, it means there's no room for anything else or anyone else. If you have a cup and you fill it with water, it's filled with water. There's nothing else can go in it. It is filled with water. And when our lives are filled with the Holy Spirit, there is no room for anything else. And so desire more of him, more of God's Holy Spirit. You don't have to be afraid of him, because all he'll want to do is point you to Jesus. All he'll want you to do is to love Jesus and to speak of Jesus. He'll never want you to boast about yourself. So come with confidence. Drink, be filled with the Holy Spirit, and God will be glorified. God bless you.